Because the activity feed has updated recently, I wanted to kind of show you how it's going to function. Obviously very similar to how it was functioning before, but there are some differences that might help you. So adding a note really hasn't changed, except we've added a subject line. The nice thing about this is if you add one and you need to change it, you can edit both it and the text just as you normally would by hitting the pencil button and changing the subject line. This can include something like updated as of 11/4 so that people understand that there have been changes to this node string in case they look at that subject line. Another cool update is when you're coming in here, you can see you can toggle through actions such as a text message or assigning a task or even tracking a phone call. Assigning a task is very similar to a note, except that we're doing an assignee and a due date. These function very similar to as they did before. It can pull up a calendar, you can add a certain employee, and you can even clear assignee to turn it back into a note. The text messages also function very similarly. We're able to choose where we're sending from and who we're sending to. It is only going to pull up those phone numbers that are labeled personal mobile on a contact card. So you see here, it is not showing this phone number because it's not labeled personal mobile. Once we compose a text, as always, just as a reminder, because I always feel like that's a good idea, if you comment on a text string, it is a text message response. So always be very cautious when you're responding to a text string. You can tell by the symbol as well as hover to discover to determine what you're utilizing in the activity feed. The last part of this I would say is your phone call log. This does not actually initiate a phone call from the activity feed, but it instead allows you to track time here. So if you need to quickly start tracking your time, and maybe this is easier than using the billing timer, this is a really nice way of doing that so that you can track it and it enters itself into your billing section if you do use time and billing. So very similar. Nice thing about this as well is now it has a function to open in drawer so that if you needed to navigate away to a different project, you can. And luckily, this activity feed item will remain here so that you can continue to make changes to it, even if you navigate elsewhere in Filevine. Hopefully that helps.